So Alex, this is often a driver favourite, Austin, because of the city, because of the circuit as well. Where does it stack up in your ranking of the circuits and places to visit?
I would say as a circuit, it's good, but as a city, it's great. So I think as a place that we come to, obviously we all stay at in the city. It's a really cool place. I think all of us enjoy coming here. We always come here. If we're not getting here early, we're leaving late. Yeah. As a circuit, challenging, really difficult, so bumpy, not the normal ice rink circuits that we normally drive at. So it's a real challenge, especially with setup, which is why qualifying format makes it so difficult.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, of course, sprint weekend this weekend makes things a bit different. Do you allow yourself a Texan barbecue when you come here? Is that allowed from your trainer? And
yes, yeah. So I landed, was jet lagged, woke up a little bit late, and went straight to the Texas barbecue. Yeah. I think I've had about 10,000 calories of barbecue so far this weekend, and that's just going to go up and up. Okay. But it's not good racing food because red meat sticks in your body quite a lot, and you feel terrible. And driving especially around this track, which is so high speed, we try to have all the fun early in the weekend, so kind of stop eating junk food from Wednesday onwards. Yeah.
Well, I feel like you've earned the calories after that last race in Qatar. I mean, that looked brutal. You guys are getting out of the car just...
That was, I have to say, that was one of the toughest races I've ever been to. It was so... well, there was a few things contributing to it. Firstly, it was the tyre compounds, the tyre issues that we were going through. It was a qualifying lap for the whole race, every lap. Obviously the heat, but the humidity, and especially the heat and humidity together, the amount of sweat coming off my body was incredible, and I think that's what you saw. As well as, it was a sprint race weekend as well, so on that Saturday, you were already very dehydrated after the race, and so you were trying as hard as you could on the Sunday morning and afternoon to replenish your fluids and get them back to where they were, but they weren't quite back to a normal place, and then obviously you go into a 2-hour race, you're struggling.
Wow, toughest one you've done?
By far. Yeah. Everyone talks about Singapore, and you train for Singapore. When you're in January and February of a training camp, your only thought process is Singapore. Now it's Qatar.
You're going to add Qatar to that list.
Exactly.
Well, this season as a whole has been fantastic for you. From the outside, it looks like you've kind of performed miracles in the car. How has it felt from the inside? Where does this line up to your expectations ahead of the year?
It's been a strange strange year, just because when we started this year, I would have most probably said I would have been a bit disappointed. I thought we could have been a bit higher up, or should have been higher up than where we were. We didn't really make the changes we wanted to make in the car, and so we were struggling to get points. We weren't really in the right position to get points. Even we had to rely on a lot of luck to be in a position to score them points. So as the year went on, clearly it was Canada where the update of our car came, and we jumped about relatively half a second to where we were before, and half a second, that puts you right up there. It's so tight in the midfield, and for me and the whole team, the whole mindset changes, because you go into every weekend, there's a chance to score points. The motivation from everyone is so high. It's exciting, and even in the races, one mistake in qualifying, that's 3 or 4 positions lost. We enjoy that. That's a proper challenge. So yeah.
And you personally, do you think you're performing the best you have at any point in your career?
I'd say so. Yeah. So I'm definitely on a wave of confidence. I feel like there's a big thing about experience, which I don't think many people talk about that much. I think raw pace is always going to be there or thereabouts, but it's when the weekends get difficult. How do you get yourself out of that hole? How do you get the car into a place that you like, that you can drive and exploit? As the years have gone on, I've really realised that area of my racing has got much better, and then we can really start to score points at most tracks. So that's really it, and I'm enjoying it. I think that's a big thing too. It's fun to be able to what I just said, to race, compete, be fighting for podiums, and of course, doing a bit better than at Red Bull, for example, where the pressure was on. The experience wasn't quite there, and I didn't really know how to get myself out of these holes.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I mean, if you look back to that time, I mean, you were promoted so early on in your F1 career.
Yeah.
If you went in there now, would it be a complete different story, do you think?
Yes, it would.
With the experience?
For sure it would, but that's life. That's learning. You need them downs to be a better driver, to be a better person. And I learned a lot from having them tough moments. I think, people talk about, for example, Oscar having an amazing season, and rightly so. And I felt like in 2019 I actually had a good enough season to the point where I got fast-tracked into a very top team very early in my year. And I look back at it now and I just think to myself, of course, with all the hindsight in the world, I would have been able to change a lot. But I don't look at it in any envy or disappointment. I feel like, if anything, it's really made me focus on my weaknesses, because having that year where I was almost exposed with my inexperience, it gave me time to reflect and then to work on them areas.
And your performances now have created quite a lot of hype around you. I saw Nico Rosberg say you're the dream candidate for Red Bull Racing now. I mean, I don't know what to read into that, but I mean, do you feel like when you hear stuff like that, how does that make you feel? And what does the future look like for you? Do you trust the process here and wait for the team to build up to where potentially it can be, or do you start to look for a change?
You nailed it on the head, really. You see the progress we're making at Williams. You see this rate of improvement. I have to say, that the graph, the line is pretty steep. We've gone from a regular 10th quickest car to now, on our good days, 7th, sometimes 8th. And I want to see where this takes us. I feel like we're in a position now where we have all these good moments. We are understanding each other, and I really do feel like I'm a part of this team, and I want to see this team score podiums and win races. And I know that might take a bit of time, and that's really kind of also in some ways what you touched upon is how much time is there, because at the same time, as much as I do want to do this with Williams, and I want to make this project happen, it sounds silly, but I feel quite old. I'm 27 years old, and
You're not old.
I'm not old, but in the world of sport,
sure.
And I feel like I'm driving at close to my peak. If I'm not at my peak yet, I'm always there, and there is more to come from me. But at the same time, I don't want it to become wasted, and I want to give myself the chance to score podiums, and I do want to score, race and fight for wins. So let's see. But for sure now, my head's totally, and my heart is devoted to Williams.
Good to hear. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, Alex. Cheers.
Thank you.